My surfboard cut across the water like a razor blade, arcing beautifully along the 15-foot wave. I was Carissa Moore, Hawaii's hometown hero and one of the best surfers of all time. "Next stop, the Olympics," I shouted triumphantly as I lost my balance. My weight shifted over the board a few times as I tried to stay on, rocking me from side to side, but it was no use. I let out a yelp, fell to the side, smacked the water like a breaching humpback whale, and a couple of seconds later, I came spluttering back up to the surface just in time for my fiberglass surfboard to bump me on the head. Great. That was a good start, but the Olympics might be a few years away still, Zoe said, wading toward me in the 2 feet of water near the shore. You stayed on the board for at least 4 seconds that time, though. That's an improvement. Did you see that wave? It was at least 15 feet high, I said, motioning to the water. Of course, looking at the waves now, I could see that in reality, even the biggest were struggling to break the 2-foot mark. We were at the Cove, known as being one of the best spots for beginners to learn to surf in Kihei. Yes, at least, Zoe said with a disbelieving smile. I scowled. This was a stupid idea. It was your idea. That doesn't mean it can't be stupid. I totally agree. And I told you that entering a surfing competition when you don't know how to surf, just because you wanted an entry to the prize raffle, was a bad idea. You let me register, I pointed out. That's because you're an adult. If you want to make your own bad decisions, I can't stop you. I'm your best friend, not your mother. I sighed, sitting on the sand, the water reaching my chest, my surfboard bobbing a few feet away, attached to my ankle by the leash, letting myself be gently rocked by the movement of the water. This was a dumb idea. You could always be a no-show on competition day, Zoe pointed out. You'd lose your entry fee, but you'd keep your dignity. But then I wouldn't be entered in the prize drawing, and I want that 1 year's supply of free pie. Zoe laughed. You're an adult. You have a job, you can buy yourself pie. Nope, free pie tastes better than pie you've paid for. That's how science works. That is not at all how science works. It definitely is. Just because it hasn't caught up to reality yet doesn't make me wrong. I'm going to win that year of free pie, and I'm going to try not to humiliate myself too much in the process. A month ago, registrations had opened up for the annual Maui Pineapple Express surfing competition. Zoe, an avid amateur surfer, competed every year, and she had brought home the flyer one day. The closest I'd come to surfing was a disastrous attempt at stand-up paddleboard yoga, which I only did to try and find a killer, since I did my best to avoid the ocean at all costs. But when Zoe brought home the flyer for a local surf competition, I was instantly attracted to the advertised raffle prizes, especially the raffle prize offering a year of free pie. When I'd questioned Zoe and found out all someone had to do to enter the contest was register and compete, I was in. Of course, the fact that I had no idea how to surf was just a minor detail. I only had to try. I didn't have to win. But I still didn't want to totally humiliate myself, so Zoe had spent her spare time in the last 2 weeks teaching me the basics of standing up on a surfboard. And every time I got up on that surfboard, I felt as if I was taking on Jaws, the massive surf break on the north shore of Hawaii, commonly known as the biggest wave in the world. A few times Zoe had taken video of me so I could see what I was doing wrong. Spoiler alert, everything. And in reality, the waves I was taking on were less Jaws and more nibbled on by a goldfish. Okay, do you want to get back on the board and try again? Zoe asked. No, I replied sulkily. I'm done for today. Tomorrow is the big day, and let's face it, I'm not going to become world-class in that time. You're not. Because you have devoted something like 7 hours to this sport in your entire life. You're still a few short of that 10,000. Well, thank you for trying to make me feel less of an embarrassment, at least. My pleasure. And relax. You're not going to embarrass yourself. I mean, sure, you have no idea what you're doing, but as long as you're out there having fun, that's the main thing.
to keep listening to this audiobook. I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.